Saturday, May the 4th, it's not only Star Wars Day, which is a Disney marketing scheme. This seems to actually be pretty cool. It's also Kentucky Derby Day. And because the big horse and 3-year-old America is not going to be in it because he's trained by Bob Baffert and Kentucky Racing is upset with Baffert because he basically has got 2 Triple Crown winners when no one on the East Coast could do what he's done. They don't have access to the horses that he does. And the last Derby entrance that he had, they disqualified the horse because they said it was drugged. What they found on it was, I can't remember what it was called, but you put it on the horses. It's like an ointment. And if he'd have peed before they tested him, he wouldn't have been positive. All right. And it doesn't affect their behavior. It's not a painkiller. It's not a steroid. It's not any performance enhancing thing. It's for it's for skin issues. Okay, horses do get those. And they decided to ban Baffert for 3 years. Okay, because he dared to put something they all put on their horses. But as Bob Baffert, he's the best trainer in the United States, the best trainer in the world, and how dare he come from California and humiliate them over and over and over again. The guy is probably one of the greatest thoroughbred racehorse trainers that has ever lived. Okay, but like I said, he also has access to really good horses. I mean, really good ones. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I don't bet on the race, but I might this year just because, hey, Cross. Yeah, well, it was just I think I've used it on Kay when she had issues. Okay, so it's not like it's not available like over the counter. It's not, and of course there's no way to really appeal it. And he was pissed off, so he's like, "Fuck you." Okay, I don't blame him. Okay, he'll go and race in California, and I think he can in Belmont, and he's gonna bring his horses to Pimlico for the Preakness, and then we'll see the 3-year-olds they should have raced in the Derby. Okay, it's disgusting. Anyway, so gotta get the house ready because we're gonna have people over. I will not be going to mass that Saturday night. I will go in the morning, so I'm gonna be hungover at mass, going just get this over with. No, I'm not. I will probably be really behaved because I hate getting up early. I hate it. Fucking sucks. I will only for a few things. For my horse, to go hunting, go on vacation. Okay. But that's it. And anything else is just painful. So anyway, all right, so the 4th is going to be a very, very busy day for me on several levels. We're doing barbecue. I've got a couple of sides I need to make. Gotta get the house straightened out. Our friends may stay overnight, so I gotta make sure that the guest bedroom's ready to go. And that's it. And Kay is gonna be. Oh, I think if Kojak, when Buford was alive, Rudy would take him downstairs and let him do his business and feed him. He'd come back upstairs and go to sleep, and then I was able to sleep until Rudy would get up at 4, and before he left around 5:30, he'd let Buford out, do his business and feed him, and then Buford had just come back upstairs and hang out. He'd crawl up in bed and cuddle. You don't do that for Kojak, because Kojak needs to wear an e-collar, because those things on top of his head are selective listening devices, and 90% of the time they don't work. And it's a pain in the ass to put it on him because it's got to fit pretty snug. And so I have to get up earlier than I would. Oh yeah, I mean that, I understand that. And I think one of these days I'm just gonna have to crawl out of bed and get the dog taken care of outside to do his business, and then I'll be able to sleep a little later. But I am not, I used to be a morning person and I'm not anymore. I mean, when I was a kid and we'd be going up to the ranch to go to work at the ranch that I worked at in Minnesota, they had horses, trail rides. I would get up at 5 and I would get there by 6:30. Okay. My dad would have to drive us and my friends and I. And we were there all day until like 5. And then dad would come and get me. And, I taught myself to ride when I was a kid. And, but I was excited to go. Now it's like, oh, fuck. I don't want to get up. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. May the 4th, there's a lot of interesting Hasbro Pulse figures coming out, including a Mara Jade figure, 6-inch, so it would go with a lot of collections. You know, and that'd be interesting. Thanks, Cross. I love it how these little Pablo Hidalgo sucking faggots show up here because they're pissed off at me for some reason. You know. By the way, I did tell you that he hid his or privatized his public account on X. Nonsense on Blue Skies. And he thinks honestly that the dislike ratio on the Acolyte, he thinks all those people that are posting that stuff, the comments about Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, are all liars. They're Russian bots. So they're going back to that narrative. Okay. You know, anyway, so that's going on. But I honestly, I think it's going to be a very interesting day. There could be announcements. Really, it's been real quiet again since the George Lucas kind of thing kind of came out, and Sparrow put, oh, I agree, Double O. I mean, but I think once the Kennedy issues are settled, I think she's likely, I think that a lot of people will end up leaving Lucasfilm. You know, look, when you see somebody who's been as toxic, and I'm going to use that word, as some of the Lucasfilm employees, either leaving X, privating their accounts, whatever, you know the shit's going down. Okay. You just know it because what is past is prologue, as Shakespeare said. It's very interesting to me. Yeah, there is Heir to the Empire vibes. Well, yes and no. I don't know what it means. There was a video put out for Star Wars Day that did not show. They showed for Disney World, and they did show the Rey cosplayer cast member doing a really shitty job acting, by the way. But they also show cosplayers Anakin and Padme. You know, it's like, okay, that's, we've got Lucas getting an honorary Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival on the same day that it's the 1-year anniversary of Kennedy discovering that the Star Wars Star Cruiser Hotel is closing and Willow was canceled. Okay. It's going to be very interesting. I really don't know what is going to go on later. I mean, as how long are we going to have to sit and wait for all this? Will it be all summer and nothing but rumor mongering and you know, and of course, I want to talk about the Peter Principle. Now, you guys know what the Peter Principle is. It is, I'll give you the definition because I'm very good at that. Okay, All right. All right. So, the Peter Principle is a concept in management developed by Lawrence J. Peter, which observes that people in a hierarchy tend to rise to a level of respective incompetence. Employees are promoted based on their success in previous jobs until they reach a level at which they are no longer competent, as skills in one job do not necessarily translate to another. There you go. That's what's going on. Okay. We've got Lucasfilm suffering from, literally, this is the definition of the Peter Principle with Kennedy, suffering from nepotism, John Kasdan, Alden Ehrenreich. And you kind of go, you wonder why we've got crap. There are people involved. I mean, look at the people that Kennedy surrounded herself with. If there was ever a definition of the Peter Principle, it's everybody that she brought on board. All right, and I'm serious. I'm not kidding. And people wonder why Star Wars is having such a hard time with basically being successful. All right, and overriding the negativity of so many people. There's also a definition of what hope is. Hope is anger not at someone who made you feel this way. And hope is also looking at the road down, looking at the future. And what's going on here? And when you've got incompetence working at Lucasfilm, who cannot all right, deal with the public, who go public and insist they're not public people, who go on podcasts but insist they're not public, who say things out of turn, get called out for it, and get defensive. All right. That's a level of incompetence. The fact that Kathleen Kennedy has never been able to. Oh, I know Cross. I mean, that's the thing. And Peter has a point. No one was supposed to be more skilled than Kathleen. Let me explain to you how you administrate your office. The Ronald Reagan style. You get people that are experts. You yourself as a leader know you're not the smartest man in the room, but you've got to be the wisest woman in the room, the wisest man in the room. Okay? You cannot look at yourself and think, these people that are working for me can't be more skilled or better at things than I am. Look at the way she treated Gina Carano. She did not lead. Hi, Mazarus. Mazuris is in the house. Well, you know, I mean, there's that. And again, it's the Peter Principle working in front of us. This is literally a lesson of the Peter Principle that none of us saw until it was too late. I don't think Hollywood saw it until it was too late. John Kasdan, the only reason why he got to write Soilo was because he was Larry Kasdan's son. Larry Kasdan never said no to him. The script shows it. Larry Kasdan never listened to what George Lucas said, even when they were working together. He put the stuff George wanted into the script, but it never stuck. And then when he gets to the point where he's actually helping his son, he don't know what the fuck he's doing. Okay. What else? Awful Aaron Yuck. All right. Why? Oh, why did Kathleen Kennedy ever tell Stephen she'd hire him? You know, I mean, I don't understand. The guy can't act. He's unattractive. He has all the charisma of a dog turd. And it's like, who in their right mind thought that that would be a good Han Solo? All right. Hey, Andrew, a soy-filled, truly, he brags about it, little rat who bears absolutely no resemblance to the man who played the character and did not give off the vibe, the alpha male vibe. And that's a really important thing, you know. You can't really get people to like what you're doing if someone else had played the character for a long time. And the only actor to do that, it's a lot easier for James Bond because Roger Moore wasn't that much of a fall off from Sean Connery. You know, Connery's my favorite. So people weren't that upset. And there wasn't 40 years between here and back then. Okay, and only one person played that role. He's still around. You know, you could at least try to repeat. Because if you don't, what is my biggest problem with so much of this? It is inconsistent with the character. Okay. Aaron Reich looks like someone who Chewbacca would hang upside down in front of the airlock and Han would be going, you gonna tell me what you're doing? Or I'm gonna let him let you out. Okay. I mean, I that would make more sense to me. Okay. The whole movie was stupid. But it is a combination of the Peter Principle with Kennedy, nepotism with John Kasdan, and, to be honest, Alden Ehrenreich, because look, people have said they didn't need a Han Solo movie, an origin story. That's fine. I would have liked a good one, okay? And the fact that the movie failed should have been the end of Kennedy's career right there at Lucasfilm. But they had to finish the damn trilogy. No one wanted the movie. All right, no one wanted to finish it because it sucks. Okay, now we've got dead fucking silence in Hollywood about where her career is. Bellany talks about how incompetent she was. Not woke, incompetent. Though I do say she's a bitter feminazi, you know. Yeah, and Peter's right there. I mean, you know, the whole writer's strike thing, when you look at what's really going on there, a lot of originality is going to disappear. I mean, not that there has been a lot of originality. Where's the dog? There he is. I'm being stared at. He's mad at me. Not that there has been a lot of originality lately. All right, I mean, when you get nothing but reboots and remakes, and now they're remaking Naked Gun. Why? And I mean, I like Liam Neeson. I think he's a great actor, but why? Cujo. It's Kojak. He's a big, sweet guy, even if he did run me over. See? My hand, my poor deformed hand. Rest. I call him Koji, or Kojira, because he's the size of Godzilla. But, you know, when you've got all these remakes and everything, people aren't gonna trust you. Okay? You got writers that can't write. You got people like Shonda Rhimes getting all these things. You know, Taylor Sheridan of all the big showrunners is about the only one who can actually write a script. Okay, that's it. That's it. And you're like, okay, so we've got what going on here, and I don't understand. And you know, why are we doing all these remakes? It's because the business is tired. The business is run by a bunch of non-creative executives who are chicken shits. They're not making money this year. I mean, when you're on X, or you get the emails from Variety and THR and Deadline, and they're bragging about, you know, a movie making $20 million on a weekend. And it's like, that's not anything. That's nothing. That is nothing. Okay. So you're going, why? Why are we doing this? I mean, what is the point of this? Why are we allowing this to go on? I mean, when you would think someone would say that. You would think someone would say, we need fresh eyes on this. We really do. And we need to get them going, get them moving. And yeah. And well, I wouldn't really call Larry Kasdan a genius. He was just good at putting down George's vision for Empire Strikes Back, for Return of the Jedi, and for Raiders of the Lost Ark. But if you notice, he didn't work with George again. And probably because he thought he knew better. Like the whole thing with Harrison Ford wanting to kill off Han Solo in Return of the Jedi. And you want to go up to him and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Larry Kasdan thinks that was a good path. They didn't understand that it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, look at The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is what happens when you don't have George Lucas overseeing things. How come the galaxy's this big? What are we doing with these characters? This is not consistent. This is not what the fans want to see. This is not what I want to see. I mean, the thing about George is that he was walking on that beach in 1977 with Steven Spielberg, waiting for the stuff to come out, the box office for Star Wars. And Steven asked him, what do you want? Yeah, it was Harrison. It was. I mean, you know, Carrie Fisher said it best. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. He was playing himself. And I think that's why people loved it so much. I mean, you know, it wasn't like he was sleepwalking through the part. I mean, when he was in Empire Strikes Back, that he was the big man. Okay, that movie made him a movie star. Actually, Star Wars did. Um, but now where was I? I can't remember. Yeah, well, the Fall Guy, I'm not. See, it's like, why are you guys doing this? Why do we need to see Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin? You know? Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it might have been. You know, I mean, I just, it's just to me, it's all about who's overwatching everything. All right. And when the old man isn't there, um, uh, when the old man isn't there, they'll do whatever they want because they suddenly think that it belongs to them. And to me, when you have a fan base like the Star Wars fan base, and it's a rowdy fan base as we know, you have to keep in mind who they are and what they expect. I mean, last movie I went to was, I haven't even talked about this, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I didn't even do a review of it because there was just something lacking. And you realize that Jason Reitman wasn't directing it. He did write it, but there's so much like they show Bill Murray testing out what's his face, the fire guy, and then the fire guy just shows up at the firehouse, you know, and it's like, when you're going, what is this? Why there's something missing here, you know, and that was wrong. And then Phoebe and that, I don't even know what to think about that. Um, I didn't even know what to think about the Phoebe thing, and the funniest parts were Slimer going after the kid, the boy. But really, even the relationship between the old teacher, the mom, and the kids was just, everything was forced. Okay, and you know, it's not a movie I want in my collection. It's not 2016 Answer the Call. It's not that. That was horrible. It's but it's also not, definitely not Afterlife. Afterlife, there's so much heart and soul to that movie, and there's not a drop of it. In Frozen Empire, and I was just like, meh. Well, no, there wasn't anything like, it wasn't. You kind of wanted to see. Here's the deal: when they realize that, oh God, I cannot remember the actor's face, the Indian actors. When they realize that he can actually control what's going on, why didn't why didn't they show Venkman figure calling Ray, telling him we got this going on? Oh, we gotta let them meet up. You know, like they did before. You know, we wanted to see something that brought the heart and soul of it, and it was gone. And I don't think it's because Ivan Reitman died. I think it's because it was made too fast. It wasn't written properly, and the people who knew better didn't pay enough attention to what they were doing. Okay, that's my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a remake, but you know, I wanted to see some smart ass lines, improv from Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and it was like, that's it, that's it. Kind of walk out going, wow, you know. Um, I mean, in the end of Bad Batch, if you haven't watched season 3, you gotta see it. It's good. It's really good. And I actually wanted to talk about this too. So Nala Sue, the Kaminoan, is dragged up. She's captured by Admiral Rampart, who found himself on Tantus. They dragged him there, and he wanted to see what they were doing, and then he forces her to show him what experiments they were doing. Here's a question: the last episode, or was it the episode before? You've got Hemlock sitting at a desk, looking at schematics for a dark trooper. Okay. Now, he says, Rampart says, "Oh, now I know what they want Omega for." Okay. And it's like, what is going on? Nala Sue drops that thermal detonator and wipes out all of her research. Kills herself, kills Rampart, everything. Okay. And it's over. What's right? We know we have a Project Necromancer because, as you see, a character in Mandalorian season 3 is working on it. Okay, but how far behind are they now? Okay, I would think that with the Kaminoan science gone, delayed. Yeah, but delayed. But in what way? And what is what is it actually? Because let's go back. Hemlock walks into that room and unleashes these troopers that are like in hibernation. And you're looking at him going, is this part of the experiment? Because I'm watching this and I'm thinking it doesn't have anything to do with cloning, making a clone for the Emperor. Okay, it has everything to do maybe with making a dark side force sensitive army that will do the Emperor's bidding, and I don't know. Especially now, you got to remember, Tarkin did say, take all the funding and do it to Project Stardust, and that's the Death Star, or both of them actually. So you're kind of looking at it, and it's like, it didn't kill the project, but how far set back is it? Because they're never getting Omega back. The Empire's never going to get her back. I think she would kill herself before they'd die and wipe herself out completely before they'd ever get their hands on her. And everything about her specifically is gone. All of it. And the Kaminoans were the best cloning, the best at doing all this. So how far a setback is it? I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the Emperor. And really, I think now that we've got, at the end of Ahsoka, Thrawn going to Dathomir, that he's going to have no use for it. Well, yeah, and remember, if they're force sensitive, they're dark side, but they're completely obedient to the Emperor. I mean, that's a pretty badass commando. Okay, so and again, they looked a lot like Garak and Ahsoka, but he turns into dust. So it was obviously dark side magic, alchemy, by probably Morgan Elsbeth that kept him alive. Okay, it's all very it's going to be very interesting how they resolve it and how they explain all of that, because I was like, we're still going to get Necromancer, but in what respect and what is it going to be for? Okay, because look, George told Ian McDermott the Emperor's dead. Period. Okay, they had to bring him back. They couldn't be Grand Admiral Thrawn. They couldn't have any other bad guys. They had to bring him back because that's about as creative as J.J. Abrams and J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio are. They're not. Okay. And Kennedy was like I said, she's incompetent. She got the job because of the Peter Principle. She's a raging feminist, and she's dumb. I mean, when you've got Steven Spielberg basically saying that she couldn't take shorthand, she's supposed to be writing notes, and all of a sudden she interrupts everybody and says, why doesn't he just end up with the dog? I mean, it's like, what? And they just, I could see somebody being so tired of her, they just give her busy work. But, she did work with Clint Eastwood, who I don't think, if she did a really bad job, she would have for long. And of course, then we've got that little girl on the Fandom Wire defending her, basically saying that she sat in the editor's suite mixing Jurassic Park so Steven Spielberg could go to Poland to start filming Schindler's List. No. Kennedy's own words. When she walked in there, the dinosaurs were already happening. Okay. And he asked Lucas to do that, not her. Kennedy was just like, okay, I will keep you abreast of what's going on, probably. Also, she helped produce Schindler's List. So you're like, I sense a great disturbance in the force. Like someone really fucking stupid just made an ass of herself. Okay, so there you go. I mean, that's it. Okay, that is the Kathleen Kennedy thing for you, and it's. She rose to a place she couldn't. No, she couldn't, and Peter's right. I mean, you're in a meeting with George Lucas, and he's describing, and he and Spielberg are spitballing ideas for the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Was she knitting? Didn't it occur to her to fucking listen? Or was she so angry that she was being ignored that she couldn't wait to destroy everything they built? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, she's now nowhere to be seen. She's she's basically an executive producer on Twisters. And it's like, why is she being allowed to do that? When Victoria Alonso got fired, it's like, I mean, yeah, Kim, and I'm like going, I mean, they have to announce something soon. I mean, you can't keep pretending. Okay, and another thing, if take the narrative away from the big YouTube channels. I mean, but I gotta tell you something. If you go to their channels, if you go to any of those channels, and you look at 2 years ago, 3 years ago, their views on the same subject, and you watch it again now, I saw one that was like close to 200,000, maybe 200,000 views on a couple of videos about Jon Favreau basically gathering power at Lucasfilm. And just recently he posted one where grain of salt rumor about Jon Favreau's leaving. And it only had like 70,000 views. Okay, so when you start thinking about it, people are getting tired of it. Okay, again, first off, why do you let people make you angry? All right. They're affecting you. Okay. All right. And you're letting them, and I'm talking about the shills, the Hidalgos, the Steele Saunders of the world, the Brian Youngs, the Ryan Johnsons. They fucked up. It pisses you off. But why keep this up? Why stay angry? Why is that still a thing? What has it done? Okay, and don't tell me that the people who actually think, oh, that they forced Mark Hamill to see his granddaughter. I was talking about that in 2018. All right? It had nothing to do with any of us on YouTube. It had everything to do with Mark realizing he had to do the right thing. And that was a good thing. Okay, it's a good thing. But taking, responsibility for something like that and patting yourselves on the back is such a vainglorious dumpster fire. What the fuck, The fact of the matter is, when you look at what is going on, we don't know. Okay, like you've got. Let's go, and then I gotta go because I've got stuff I gotta do. I gotta go upstairs and start policing up the guest bedroom. First off, we've got a show coming out on the 4th of June or the 5th of June that has 78% dislikes on the Firefox dislikes measuring thing. We've got Lucasfilm employees thinking that it's not true, that it's all Russian bots. Okay, no, it's not. Look, here's the deal. When you see people reverting to something they used back in 2018 to defend the hatred, to defend the Last Jedi, the only people I hated are Russian bots. Or the fact that Soilo bombed. It's like, that's all you got? Really? Really? Okay. And it's you're kind of like, you're watching them fail. You're watching them be extremely concerned. You're watching them act nervous and terrified that something that they love and care about may not last. Okay? You're watching change coming, all right? And that's what that is. Running off of X, protecting your tweets. The second quarter, Anyway, so we talked about the Peter Principle. We talked about the end of The Bad Batch. I thought it was great. And I just love the way it ended. It was a good ending. It was a happy ending. And the fact of the matter is, it ended in a way that nobody that Kathleen Kennedy ever hired Ryan Johnson, etc., could have ever envisioned. All right, it ended the way Return of the Jedi kind of ended, in triumph. What's left of the Bad Batch is sitting there watching the everything and talking about how they're going to get the kids back to their families, etc. And that was a good ending. Okay, that's the way a Star Wars story, be it streaming, be it animation, be it a trilogy of films, should end. Okay. Okay, and that's I mean Dave did a good job. Okay, Dave did a really good job. Was it better than live action? I will never understand why people get so incensed about the live action stuff. All right. It's to me, I think lots of times it's people still trying to find their footing. They know what they want to do, but it's finding your comfort zone. And it's doing what it's doing the things that need to be done for the franchise. And it's kind of a different like genre for streaming because it's a continuous story for one season and it's only 8 episodes. Okay. So can you afford to have filler episodes? Not really. Are there filler episodes? Yes. Why? Because they haven't found their footing. Is that a bad thing? No. Could they get better writers? I don't think anybody can write better than Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for this. I don't. But they need to find the comfort zone and be there. Okay, I don't know what that comfort zone is, but it's there. Anyway, I gotta go because I gotta let the dog out and I gotta put his e-collar on because he don't listen to anybody. And we're just waiting again, twisting in the wind for some word about Kennedy's fate officially from Disney. And it's like, okay, so you guys have a good afternoon and I'll see you around the galaxy. Behave, be safe. If something happens, if we hear something from Sparrow, I'll be back. See you guys later.